Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Pseudo's Crochet and More. This is your host Crystal. Today is a purchase from Amazon with some gift cards that I got from work again. I got a couple different books, crochet books, obviously because I don't knit. One is this one, the Crochet Everyway Stitch Dictionary, 125 essential stitches. And I will show you, not that much, I will not show you that. I will show you some stuff that you can see in this book. It's a very good book. Unfortunately, my voice, yeah. Okay, so this here is on Amazon. It has 125 essential stitches and crocheting in 3 different ways. So it'll give you a stitch pattern, and then it will tell you if you can change like the edging, internal shaping, things like that. So that's one. And then the other one is called Scrappy Afghans. And I am going to try to make one of these. It's this one here. And I'll show you a better picture of it from the inside. But I got this one as well. I try not to get people's written patterns like this for blankets and things. I'm trying to come up with my own. But stitch patterns I think are widely available. People have just different names for them. They rename them something totally different. And sometimes, like the Stitch Bible that I have only has numbers. No, I take that back. Some have numbers and some do not. They'll tell you what the name of the stitch is. But, you know, everybody has patterns for a lot of different stitches. I think it's an endless category. I don't think there's ever going to be a complete dictionary of all the stitches, because that would be like that thick, in my opinion. So, let's go ahead and get started with the Crochet Everyway Stitch Dictionary. Now it is a pretty big book. I will link these in the description box, so if you're interested in checking them out. This one is available as a e-reader book, but it is very, very hard to read the print. I tried on my computer and it's very hard to see all of the information. I had to enhance the size of the text, and then it just kind of like even got blurrier because it was way too big. So I wound up getting the actual book as well. So it starts out in several different sections. So let's see here. So chapter 1 is closed stitches. Chapter 2 is mesh, fillet, and easy laces. Chapter 3 is popping out, they're textured stitches. Chapter 4 is exploding shells. Chapter 5 is classic laces. And Chapter 6 is undulating stitches, ripples and waves. So, and of course, every crochet book has getting started, the yarn, about shape. This one has the abbreviation, symbol key. So some of them do have the symbols, some of them do not. And they do give pretty good instructions. I haven't had a problem yet with it. And goes over what our stitch patterns. And she has a lot of pictures in the book. And you could just go and look and see if you can find that picture, that the pattern that matches that picture, if you find something you like at the beginning of the book. I'm not going to go through all of these. It talks about all about shaping, what is shaping, edge shaping, internal shaping, like if you wanted to make a triangle shawl from the bottom up type of thing. So let's see. So it starts out with the basic stitches, single crochet, half double, all that stuff. And it will tell you, again, if the pattern can be internal shaping or only edge shaping. Some of them are only edge shaping and some of them are both internal and edge. And I'll show you an example of that here in a second. And there's more information that this person really did give a lot of information, and you can convert any stitch into a scarf or a wrap, and she gives you the math on it, so that's nice. I didn't even read that stuff. I just went straight to the thing. And here is the abbreviations that she uses and the symbols. And I do believe this is in US. I should have looked at that. I'm pretty sure it is. I don't think it states, because I tried to look at that. Oh. I'm pretty sure these are US terms. Because she does give information on how to do some of the special stitches and things like that. Okay, so here is the chapter 1 closed stitches, and there are some samples of what you could find in this section. And see, that one's internal shaping, that one's internal, that one's edge. So if you're making a shirt for somebody, you can do for the sleeves, you can make it a little wider at that point. So here's one that has both internal. I'm going to try to just show you the picture because I don't want. Okay, let me see about covering that up. I don't want to. Okay, see how that one has both internal and edge shaping, and then she gives you the diagram and she gives you instructions on how to do each one of them, where to increase, where to decrease, things like that. Now I know that there's some of these patterns in here that I've seen other people do, but call them something totally different. And then, so that's all closed stitches. And then you get into, and it is nice that she has the pages color coded. So when you get to the next section, it'll change colors. That should be that one. Why is that? Okay. I don't know, that's weird. That's still part of the closed stitches, but they have it a different shade. Okay, and then the next one was mesh, fillet, and easy laces. And here is samples of what you could find in that section. So she's got a lot of, and the author is Dora Ornstein, something like that. I thought it was Deborah. Maybe it was Dora. No, Dora. Okay. That's chapter 2. And again, if you can do internal shaping or edge shaping, it will tell you in the pattern. It will tell you if that stitch is not compatible with internal shaping. Like if you wanted to do a triangle scarf, you wanted to start at the bottom point and you work your way up. That is, some of these that I really wanted to be that way are not, but that's okay. There's that, and then the next one is, okay, that's still, okay. Alright, and then the next one is chapter 3, which is popping out and textured stitches. And this is samples of what you could find, stitches that you can find in this section. I'm really sorry about the glare. The sun outside, my husband pulled up the blind and I cannot get it to come down to cover up the sun from outside, so I'm only getting inside light, but so it's kind of glaring. If I were to turn off my camera light, it would be too dark in here. And it's still kind of dark, so let's see, that might be a little bit better. Alright, so that's that one. There's a lot of neat patterns in there. Now I have tried some of these, and you'll see that in tomorrow's video. And I'm trying to see if I can get the time to do a stitch tutorial for one of them. But It's not a guarantee that it'll happen this week. It might not be till next week. Alright, and then the next one is the Exploding Shells, Chapter 4. There's some samples of the patterns you can find in this section. And then, after that, let's see, Classic Laces, Chapter 5. Now these are different than the other one. Those were easy. Yeah, easy laces. These are classic laces, so there is a little bit difference. But still very pretty patterns. And one looks almost like filet. This one here. The pineapple stitches in this one. I don't know if that's what they call it or not. Let me see if that's what they actually call it. Let's see. No. Okay. Yep. I was right. I don't want to really give too much here. I'll just do it this way. They call it pineapple columns. I know it's kind of upside down, but I'm not trying to show you guys the actual pattern because some people know how to read charts. And there's charts for these, so I don't want to give, you know, too much out there. But there's a lot of nice patterns in here. Some of them I wouldn't call them what they call them. I would change the name, but that's just me. Let's see what's after this one. Alright, come on. And then the ripples and wave stitches. So there's some different ripples and wave stitches that you can... A lot of internal, obviously, because of the chevron pattern. But, oh, that hand. Why am I moving that hand? That hand. That's the granny chevron. But it's a little different. Because I looked at that one. And I know everybody comes up with their own stitch multiples and things like that. It just depends, I guess, on how you start and end your rows. Depends on your stitch multiple, in my opinion. The classic ripple, which I would think that the dotted ripple. Now I think this one, let me see. It's that one. This one's actually interesting. So the dotted ripple, I know this is on its side, but that's a really interesting take on the ripple. And I really have to come up with a pattern for my niece, for her baby, that she's going to have next month. And get the one that I made for her first child sent to them for Christmas. Oh, I have it. It's done. I even made a bigger one. Like I said, she is a tiny thing for how old she is. She'll be 2 next year. She just turned 1 this year, but this is another one. This one here is called the Bordered Ripple, and there's like a different take on it that's called the Puff Ripple. It's a little bit different in design. I'm going to just show it real quick. Hopefully you guys can't pause it for too long. There's the Bordered Ripple, and then the Puff Ripple. And then, of course, the Granny Ripple, which I already pointed out. So this book has a lot of different stitches that I have not seen before. Some of them, probably because they're older stitches, aren't as popular as they may have once been. There's even a V-stitch ripple. I did not know that. A V-stitch ripple. There's 2 ways of doing it. This way, which are the sharp points, or the less noticeable spots. This almost looks like the sound wave version, That's called different things, depending on who you get it from. I learned it by being the sound wave. You change your color every other row, and it's different. It's just, it doesn't get the sharp points like the chevron normally does. It's more of a rounded ripple. Alright, and then let's see, raised ripple, which is cool. The rippling shell, which I'm not sure how to take this because it really doesn't look like a ripple in my opinion. If you watch it this far, let me know what you think. If you think that that is actually a ripple blanket, because to me that just looks like stacked crochet. I don't know. I guess if I changed the edging, now see this one here does not have an internal shaping. Where is it? Edge decrease. Usually it tells you. Okay, so it's because of the shape of the sides. That's how it's a ripple. It says here, a unique stitch consisting of 2 rows, one of shells and the other of fillet. The ripple is not due to increasing or decreasing, however, allowing this stitch to be shaped at the edge. So that's where it's coming in at. And I don't know why it doesn't tell you that internal shaping can't be worked with that. Then there's the tilted ripple. That's kind of cool. And I'm also trying to, I know, I'm going to date myself, but if anybody's watching this and has ever watched Mama's Family with Vicki Lawrence and Carol Burnett and Betty White and Ruth McCallahan, she does a lot of crocheting in her shows. Not that it shows that she gets anywhere with it, but you can see she's trying to crochet during the show. There's a few episodes where she puts on a shawl that somebody has crocheted, and I'm trying to work a pattern for that, because I think it would be really interesting to have a Thelma Harper shawl wrap. I might make it a wrap, I might not make it a shawl. It just, or a triangle. It might be just a long wrap to wrap around. But I'm working on that. Let's see. The simple wave, which is kind of interesting. I'll show it to you just in case you've never seen it. Oh, sorry, there you go. This is the simple wave. It's kind of glaring every time there we go. It's kind of hard to see the wave, the way that it's worked up. And this one does have internal shaping, so it could be turned into like a shawl or something. Or if you wanted to do like a chevron style blanket, you just have to make sure you've got the right stitch multiple for that. Then there's the open wave, which is interesting. It's more like a fillet. I'll show you. Open wave. And at the very back, she does have an index of, there's the wavy gravy. Now, I've done this and made my sister a blanket with this pattern, and it was called Sound Wave or Heartbeat or something like that. It wasn't wavy gravy. Maybe if I made it colors of like biscuits and gravy, but wavy gravy? Yeah. Okay. Alright, and then again, in the back, if you're looking for a specific pattern, you can find it in the back of Index of Stitches. So that's that one. And now, hopefully I can go through this really quickly. Again, this is Scrappy Afghans. There's 8 in here. And the one that really, there's a lot of them that are intriguing. And would take a long time. It's very time consuming too, but you can use your scraps with these, which I really think is nice. So they have 8, obviously. So this is one. The tumbling blocks, which is I think it's an optical illusion because it looks like it's actually blocks. It tells you what type of yarn you can use. This one calls for medium weight worsted 4-weight yarn. The hook size or size needed for gauge. And then it tells you the size of the swatch that it should be for your little squares. And it tells you how many to make. And then it gives you a diagram on how to put it together. I'm not showing this because it's part of the book. Alright, and then this one here is the cross stitch blanket. And again, it gives you the size of yarn, what color you should use, what you could use to make it look exactly like this. And at the very back, it does tell you what yarn they used for what blanket. So if you really want to use what yarn they used, you can look. It is in the back of the book. And it tells you how the skill level as well. I think these are all easy. They're not anything hard. This one is called Textured Stripes, which is pretty cool. It's got some baubles and stuff. Looks very similar to the cross one, but it's got baubles. And then, the print is very nice. It's very legible. Triangle stripes. I do like this one. Triangle stripes. Make triangles, and you make colorful triangles, black triangles, and attach them row by row. And then this is it's not going to tell you, Harlequin, yeah. This one is almost like that one, only a little different. It looks like you're making a chevron blanket, but you're not. Triangles attached. And it looks like you could hide your ends right here with the fringe. Although I would still hide my ends because that's just me. It does give you a diagram as well on where to put, how to line up your triangles, which I think are mitered granny squares that you just attach a certain way. Circled squares. And that would be cool in either neon colors with black as the square part, in my opinion. The lap robe, which is kind of really small in this picture. I guess I didn't show it to you because this is the lap robe. Well, that's what it's called, lap robe. I don't know. I kept going, there's a robe in here? These are supposed to be Afghans. What the heck? Oh, here's a bigger picture. Okay. I thought that was a bigger one. That's the lap robe. And scraps around. So basically just making several different little mini granny squares and then a main color, your alternate colors, and putting it together. And then again, it tells you how, if you're making squares, triangles, whatever, it tells you on how many you have to make of each one. And this one also gives a diagram of how to set up your colors. And you don't have to use the same colors that they used. They used gray for the main color, and then scrap, 1,100 yards of scrap. And each square requires 5 yards of yarn. So Alright. Well, I do believe that's it. Yes, it is. And there are terminologies in the back. Crochet hooks, all that stuff. The levels for each one of them. And that is going to be... Oh, they also have how to join in the back as well. And then again, it tells you back here what yarn they used and what color they used, the color number. So I think this was a pretty good buy because it gives me ideas for how to use my scrap yarn that I don't have enough to actually make a full project. But this gives me ideas on what I can do with it. And then of course, if I need a new stitch, which I've been learning so many new stitches, but that will be in tomorrow's video. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed and enjoyed my content, please go ahead and hit the subscribe and then the notification bell so you're always aware of when I put out new content. Until next time, I hope you all stay safe, stay cool, happy crocheting, bye-bye.